A scary situation in Washington, D.C. last night. The solo air traffic control agent on duty at Reagan National Airport apparently either fell asleep on the job or left his post. It left two planes to land without any contact with the tower. Listen to this.
American 1900, so you're aware the tower is apparently not manned. We've made a few phone calls, nobody's answering. So two airplanes went in the past 10, 15 minutes. So you can expect to go in as an uncontrolled airport.
Dangerous behavior. No, the controller in question has been suspended pending an investigation. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood's answer to fix the mess was not to fire the worker immediately, but instead to add a second worker to the overnight shift. Joining us now is Diana Furchtgott-Roth. She's a senior fellow and director of the Center for Employment Policy at the Hudson Institute in D.C. I mean, Diana, you know, for those of us in the private sector, right, if I fell asleep, I probably wouldn't make the next commercial break. Somebody else would get this job. They wouldn't hire somebody to kick the chair so I could stay awake. I mean, this is just another example of how poor the government runs business.
It really is, yes. And there's over 50 countries, including Britain and Canada, that have modernized their air traffic control systems and commercialized them, made them into different kinds of corporations, some non-profit corporations. That enables more funds to flow in, and it enables a different structure of company.
You know, essentially, too, there's a reward here, right? Let's say this controller gets to keep his or her job. Now they got a second worker. That's the Hood's answer, right? So now this person was obviously not busy enough to stay awake. And the answer is now to have two people who cannot be busy enough, all, of course, on the taxpayer dime, ultimately.
Exactly, yes. Well, look, it's possible for someone to fall asleep on the job, but I think that this masks just a broader problem, that we have a private airline system, but we have federal workers in air traffic control. And that's why we have such problems with air traffic control anyway. And this should be a wake-up call. There were bills proposed in 2007, 2008. They almost got passed that would have modernized the FAA, made an additional flow of funds into air traffic control paid for by user fees rather than taxes. That's what we need to be doing. The expert on this is Robert Poole of the Reason Foundation, who's written many, many articles and books about it.
Well, you're being way too kind, right? I guess anybody can fall asleep on the job, but this is an air traffic control person, somebody who's supposed to guide planes in darkness. Thank goodness the pilots of the planes were able to contact regional airports and basically land the flights themselves. I mean, we got lucky this time, Diana. Do you think
we did get lucky?
We got very lucky. Sounds like you think it's time that we need to examine private sector options, but do you think that really is going to happen?
We absolutely need to, yes. Well, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I think it's the only solution to problems of employees falling asleep. Because if this employee had known he would have lost his job, or maybe it's a she, I don't know, then this person would not have fallen asleep. You just look at the difference in the service between the post office and FedEx. You know, you get to the post office at 5 o'clock, they slam the gate shut, they're not going to take your package. You go to FedEx, oh sure, they take your package sometimes till 9 or 10 at night. That's the difference between private and public sector. And in the countries that have modernized their air traffic control systems, they see lower cost, better performance.
Yeah, you know,
that's what we need here.
You've probably taken Amtrak, and listen, you know, our viewers know I got to suffer through a train-based commute every day to work. You know, and you hate to complain about it, but you're thinking, why can't we simply, the government, why can't they just run a business as good as the middling business in the private sector? Why do the businesses they run have to run literally like the bottom of the barrel?
Well,
it is a joke, but why does it have to be? Why does it have to be a punchline?
Well, the reason it has to be like that is because they don't have an incentive. I mean, just take the train. From Washington to New York, it's about $100 on the regular train. You can catch a bus for $25 or sometimes $15. And the bus company, if it goes into a deficit, it goes bankrupt. It doesn't get bailed out. Amtrak, if it goes into a deficit, which it is right now, just gets more funds from the federal government. So that's the big difference. Unsuccessful private companies go out of business. Unsuccessful publicly run organizations just get more money from Uncle Sam.
Yeah, excuses, not excellence. Diana Furchtgott-Roth, thank you very much for joining us.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
All right, take care.